All right. We good to go. I think we're good to go. Things live. What's up? What's up? What's up? Ooh. Ooh. Yeah, I did have this. Yep. Mm. All right. Bring this down. All right, we live, y'all. What's up, YouTube? Your boy, the Great Picture here, DGP, back again with another Patriot Keys live stream. As you guys already know, I do these Patriot things all the time. As you guys see right now, don't got the beanie on today. I couldn't find my other one, so we repping the hoodie. You already know, Super Bowl 51 champs. As you guys see, I'm Patriot now. Typically, every stream, you're gonna see me with something Patriot on, whether it be a jersey, a shirt, a sweatshirt, or just a hat with something else. But without further ado, let's get into this video. So, man, as you see the title, Rob Gronkowski has been suspended one game for his cheap shot hit on Bills cornerback Tre'Davious White. He will appeal that suspension. However, if it does get appealed, he will be missing this Monday Night Football game against the Miami Dolphins in Miami. Actually, hold on. Is it in Miami? I don't think so. I don't think it's in Miami. I think it's in New England. No. It was in New England last week. So in Miami. So we just faced this Dolphin team last week. So we had to face them. So we're going to face them 2 times in 3 weeks, which is a weird schedule, but that's how the schedule worked out with. So Monday Night Football, no Gronkowski. He'll miss. This will be the second game he missed this year. First game he missed because of injury concerns. Let me actually bring this camera down, actually, because my head is kind of cutting off on YouTube. Let me. Oh, there we go. We good now? Yeah, there we go. All right, we go back. But yeah, so this is the first time that Gronkowski, well, not the first time, but he's gonna miss this game. I think this is his first suspension. So this is his first suspension he ever had. Most of the games he misses because of injury issues. This one will be because of suspension. Sydney, I'll take the suspension. Having played versus Steelers, I don't blame Gronk for doing what he did. Brady came without him, a groin injury. Yeah. I meant saying this is his first game he missed because of a suspension in his whole career. Last game he missed against the Buccaneers. He had a groin injury. Sydney, I'll say the suspension is warranted. As I said on Twitter, I said if he's suspended, I understand. If he isn't suspended, I understand that as well because AJ Green didn't get suspension for him for throwing down Jalen Ramsey, choking him and throwing him down, a defensive player at the time. But I do blame Gronk for what he did, man. Again, he was being held the whole route. He got pushed at the end of the row. That still does not warrant you able to lunge into a defensive person's head while he's on the ground. And especially with that big brace that he has, again, gave him a John Bone Jones elbow to the back of his head, man. That is not warranted. Again, I don't care if he was getting pushed. I don't care if he was frustrated. If anything, he should have been frustrated at the ref. I mean, you can't get mad at him for doing that. So again, the suspension, again, I'll take it. That just makes him 100% healthy for against the Steelers game. Now, Belichick after the game went up to McDermott and told him that was complete bullshit, that it's been handled accordingly. And again, Gronkowski, he's going to appeal it just because that's what all players do. But that's funny. But yeah, man, this is completely warranted, man. And you'll probably see on the podcast, people ask me if it's warranted. I said on Twitter today, yesterday in my stream, I said that was off reaction. I said it doesn't seem like warranted because of what AJ Green did. I said I don't think he will get suspended. I said I don't think he should get suspended. But looking back at the hood, he knows next time not to make him angry. Do something. Nah, man, that it wasn't even that. Again, he was getting held the whole game. He gets held every game. He didn't get any of the calls, man. That still doesn't warrant to do a dirty hit like that. Like in football, there are tactics you can to get back at people. A little nudge there, a little push at the end of the play there, but that doesn't warrant you throwing your elbow. Again, remember, he's like 6'6", 6'8", 250 pounds. Plus with that big brace, with all that padding on him, man, to the back of his head, he gave him a concussion, bro. Like that, again, that is not warranted. He's really lucky that we only got one game out of this. So I'm all for it. As I said before on Twitter, if he didn't get the 1 game suspension, I understand because they didn't give AJ Green a 1 game suspension. But let's look at what the NFL said. The NFL sent this letter out to Rob Gronkowski when they suspended him. John Ryan said it violated Rule 12, Section 2, Article 6, which prohibits unnecessary roughness, which it was, and specifically bans both forcible contact, running when he's out of bounds, and running or diving into throwing a body against or on a player who is out of the play or should not be anticipated such contact by an opponent before or after the ball is dead, which is all true. The guy was out of bounds. The play was over. The whistle was been blown, and he just lunged at him at the back of his head. And then he also violated Rule 12, Section 2, Article 7, which initiated unnecessary conflict against the player who was in the defensive posture. Tre'Davious White did not see this coming. He did not have his head turned to him. He had his head turned away from him, couldn't see that going, and he dove right into it. Players who are on the ground on both defenses and protected from forcible hits to the head and neck area with the helmet, face mask, forearm, or shoulder. And again, because his head, again, he gave him a concussion, man. As I said before, I said if he didn't give him a concussion, if he would have hit him like in the back, if he would have hit him, if he would have hit him anywhere, if he would have hit him anywhere in between the numbers, if he lunged at his back or something, maybe that he would not be looked at as bad. Maybe he still might get the suspension, but it's not as bad as people would say it is because he didn't lunge with the head, but he lunged to the head. And then John Ryan also wrote Gronkowski a personal letter saying your actions were not incidental, could have been avoided, which it could have. Again, he didn't have to. He just lost focus. He lost control. And then he said, he said could have been avoided, and he did place him at risk because he gave him a concussion. He said that was flagrant, and again, he will be eligible after the game. But he won't be eligible to play the Monday night game. So he will be eligible to play against the Steelers, which is okay. I'm all for it. Let's see. I don't know if it's 5 or 10 yards, but you can make contact that you want before the pass, like pushing on, not 5. Yeah. I mean, it's within 5 yards. Within 5 yards, you can push and hold to a certain extent. But Gronk was way down the field. And the whole game, he was being held the whole entire game. He was being pushed. If you look at the play, when he's on the top of his route, when he's breaking off for me to go to that post route, he's still holding the back of his jersey. So the flag should have been thrown in. As I'm watching the game, I was expecting the flag to be thrown when Brady threw the pick because he was holding him at the top of the route. When the ball went up in the air, Tre'Davious White pushed him, nudged him a little bit, which made Gronkowski fall. Again, that should have been defensive pass interference. So Gronkowski was looking for the flag. There should have been a flag thrown, and I'm not knocking that. There should have been a flag thrown. That doesn't warrant you going in and lunging, I'm sorry, that's right, with his left, with all that padding on. Do I have something I can use? I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna use my Patriots thing. So that doesn't warrant you from taking your elbow with all this padding and lunging right into somebody's back of his head, man. As I said, if he didn't get suspended, I would understand because AJ Green went behind Jalen Ramsey and slammed him, hit his head right to the ground. Now Ramsey didn't get a concussion, so that might be another reason why he didn't get suspended. I still think AJ should have got suspended for that game, but he didn't. But yeah, he was holding the whole time. That's what I'm saying. I was saying that wasn't justified. He should have got back at him there. Right. Like there's other ways you can get back at him, man. Again, I understand you're frustrated, but nothing warrants a shot like that. I hope JV. Hey man, whoa. And here's the thing, though, Zilla. People do go over his knees. That's how he tore his ACL against TJ Ward. He went after his knees. People always go for Gronkowski knees. Because again, he has the Shaquille O'Neal syndrome. He has the LeBron James syndrome where he's just so big, so athletic, and people always look at him like, well, the refs look at him like, I mean, he's just too good. Like, he's just too athletic. So he lets people get away with it. Again, they let people get away with him holding and pushing off. And when Gronkowski does it, they said, okay, you can't do that. So they throw a flag to him. He's refed unfairly. But that doesn't warrant him lunging in. So Mike Evans, was like 2-3 weeks ago, he got a 1 game suspension, and he like shoved Marcus Lattimore in the back and said, like, Lattimore, good to see him. He was too busy focused on Jameis Winston. Yeah, because people going after his knees. Like that's like and you parents all y'all say he's injury prone, but when I tell you like most of the injuries not really his fault. It's just guys don't know how to tackle him because he's so big. So you go after his knees, and then you start hitting him a little bit more, and then his back start hurting a little bit. So you go after his back, like. Yeah, that's why I'm not tripping when Gronkowski catches it and goes a little bit like every time Gronkowski catches the ball and gets tackled, I wince a little bit because he's just so big. He's such a freak of nature that you just can't tackle him regular. Like you literally have to play dirty against him. And again, it's not warranted. You shouldn't be do that. And the refs, they let them get away with it time and time again. But again, it's Shaq syndrome. It's LeBron syndrome. Shaq used to get hacked every time he went in the paint. Every time he went up, he getting a hack. They don't call it time. You're 7 foot. You're 300 pounds. We can't call LeBron 6'8", 270. Freight train going to the ring. Gets hit every time he goes in. I mean, you just that big. We can't call it every time. And so that's the look at Gronkowski, man. It's that Shaq LeBron syndrome. You just can't stop him. And so people tackle him dirty. And again, he just got frustrated to the point because he was being held the entire game, the whole game, every play he was being held. They only called, I think, one time, but every play he was being held. And then they called him an offense pass interference. The one time he pushed back and they called him pass interference. No, I can't. Oh, excuse me. If he keeps running full speed, man, come on, man. I ain't worried about injuries. So, no, man, you can fight fire with fire by not going after his head. If he didn't go after his head, like I said, if he went after his body, people wouldn't be looking at this seriously. But it's the fact that he went after his head, and two, he used the padding on it and gave him a concussion. That's what I'm saying, Sidney. Like, it's different ways you can do. Like, it's just basic football tackling. If you can't tackle someone up high, you go low. That's not there. No, I'm talking about like they just lunge at his knees. They don't try to tackle. Like they don't wrap up to him to tackle. They just lunge at him. That's not basic tackling. Like other guys, see Brandon Cooks and other people, yeah, they just wrap him up. No, lunging at his knees. Lunging at his knees, that's not basic football. They're just lunging at his knees because they don't know how else to bring him down. So they're just lunging at his knees. That's not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to learn how to wrap up around his leg. You can tackle down low, you can wrap him up. But people's like, we can't do it. So they just go straight after his knees. And that's why he gets most of these injuries. Putting your head in someone's knees. That's it. How was that not dirty? How was lunging your head in? So him lunging his forearm in somebody's head is dirty, but somebody lunging their knee is not dirty. That's like if somebody throws you a pass and somebody catches it and they just lunge their elbow at your head when you try to catch it. That's not dirty. That's dirty, man. You're not supposed to lunge. You're not supposed to lunge at all. Like Odell Beckham when he lunged into Josh Norman last year. And again, this is where it all started. When he lunged into Josh Norman, was that dirty? Even though he almost hit him, he missed. Yeah, that was a dirty play, and he didn't get kicked out. But the NFL, they started to learn for that. Demons can't wrap your arms around. I mean, some of them can. I've seen it happen. I've seen people wrap up Gronkowski. I've seen people wrap up Jason Wynn. I've seen people wrap up LeGarrette Blount. Like, you can wrap these guys up, man. It's just sometimes like these DBs, they just lunge at him and they just play dirty. And again, he's reffed unfair. He doesn't get the same calls as other people. And so he just snapped. And again, I'm not warranting. I'm not saying that this was deserved. I'm not saying this is deserved. He shouldn't have done that. And again, like I said, if he was suspended, I understand. If he wasn't suspended, I understand that as well. But yeah, man. So let me know y'all thought. Do you think one game is warranted, or do you think he should spend it more? Now, he doesn't really have a history. I can show you. I can show you many of clips. I can show you many of clips. When you're watching them, you can see them. They're tackling him, or they're just wrapping him up and they're pushing him out of bounds. You can wrap up these guys, man. I'm telling you, man. I've seen it happen. I've seen guys get wrapped up. You can make tackles. It just comes down to fundamentals, man. Again, where he's so big that they're just lunging at his legs because they don't want to lunge into his head. And I mean, you can hit him in his body. You can try that. But I've seen it takes 1 to 2 people to wrap him up. They're just lunging at his legs. So it's just like saying a quarterback like a Cam Newton. Again, Cam Newton is reffed unfairly as well. I'm not saying Gronk is the only person reffed unfairly in the NFL because Cam Newton is reffed unfairly. Some of the times it's on him because he doesn't stay in the pocket and he makes himself a runner, which makes himself open to more of those hits. But when Cam Newton's in the pocket, he's getting killed. He don't get some of the calls. He's being reffed unfairly. Oh no, wait, my chat disconnected for a bit. We good now? All right. I think we good. I don't know what happened. Got disconnected. Wait a minute. All right, we good. All right, we good. You can wrap him up, man. Because most of the time, sometimes he's by the sideline. You can wrap him up, just push him to the sideline. What you mean? I played football. I was a left tackle. I understand. I was a left tackle, defensive tackle. I understand. It was hard as hell to tackle some of these guys. It was hard as hell to tackle some of them guys. My coaches always told me to wrap up though, because they didn't want me. They didn't teach me to just to lunge into somebody's leg because they knew that wasn't good. Learn how to wrap up. How to play football. I know, but yeah. So Gronk suspended for Monday Night Football. The Dolphins, they just beat the Broncos, so they're coming in on one game, and Belichick, he didn't like it. And what might have caused Gronkowski more so than just the game. And who knows if when he comes back, if Belichick decides to suspend him. Yeah, Gronk. No, when he does like his little out routes and everything, like his out and post routes, because he does seams, he does outs, he does posts, he does different things. But typically when he catches the football, there is a guy that's already behind him, and then there's a guy in front of him. The guy in front of him lunges into his legs. The guy behind him is starting to wrap him up. The guy in front of him lunges at his legs. What does that say? He's not wrapping up. Like, why you just lunge at his legs? But what happens is, so Gronk is technically the highest paid tight end in the league, but in order for him to do that, he needs to have incentives. Like the incentives he needs to be the highest paid tight end in the league, he needs to accomplish those. And for him to accomplish those, I mean, he has 3 tiers to his incentive, because people were saying he's underpaid because we signed him like after his second, third year before he really blew up, and people are saying he's been underpaid, but he could be the highest paid tight end in the league. But what people aren't, what's going to cause him actually, by his fault, is he might not get the money he mostly make, because for him to get an extra 5.5, 6 mil, what he needs to do is he needs to either have 90 catches, which he probably won't have because he's missed 2 games already. He needs to have 14 TDs. He's halfway there, but keep in mind, we're 10 and 2. I think it is. Is it 10 and 2 or is it 10 and 2? We're 10 and 2, so we only have 4 more games left. He has 7 touchdowns, and he's going to miss one of those games already. So 3 games to get 14 TDs. He's not going to get that. Play 90% of the snaps that is played. Since he's missed 2 games, he's not going to get the 90% of stats. Then the other one, I believe it was it 1,400 yards? Was it 1,400 yards or 1,200 yards? It's something like that. So he might not get those incentives. So he might have just cost himself a couple, 2 to 3 mil. I'm really trying to find the incentive base. I gotta look for this tweet. But I remember because when we extended him and people were talking about it, I said this is a great deal because it's incentive based, because we know his history. And his suspension is immediately, so he can't even practice this week. So he's not gonna be in practice for a whole week. And so I'm gonna go ahead and review it. I'm gonna go ahead and talk about it later. I'm really trying to find this thing. I'm gonna look at your comment section in a second. Just give me a second. Okay. So Horn on 5.5 mil. He needed 90% of the snaps. He's not going to get that. He missed 2 games. 80 catches. He might get that. Let me see. I think he has like 50. I want to say. Like I said, I'm trying to look at this. I'm gonna look at you guys' comments in a second. I'm just looking at his stats. He has 55 catches. So in 3 games, he needs to get 25 more catches. That's a lot to ask for. Or 1,200 yards. Now he currently has 849. He could potentially get that in 3 games. He needs to ball out in all them games. Or 14 TDs. He only has 7 right now. I don't think he's gonna get 7 TDs in 3 games. So he might have just cost himself 2-3 mil. I think with these other incentives to get 3 mil, I think he only need 10 TDs. They can only need like 1,000 yards. So I think he'll get his 3 mil. But for him to get his 5.5 mil to be the highest paid tight end in the league this year, he's not getting that. He just cost himself all that money. I was talking lunge at people's waist and wrap up. Is someone? No, I'm not saying the waist. I'm saying lunging. They're lunging at his knees, not the waist, his knees. Yeah, Zelly, you're right. 90, 80 to 100. Gronk was underpaid when he was going off years back. Now he's missing games. the same as he was. No, he still is the same. He only misses like 1 or 2 games a year, and he still has top in the league in tight end stats. It's just not he's not getting the 17 touchdowns and the 14 like the it's just that he's not getting basically. I mean, his yards. If you look at his stats, his yards because he came alive in 2014. Well, 2012 he came. Well, I'm sorry, 2011, second year in the league, he came alive because he had 17 touchdowns, 1,300 yards. 2012 he kind of tapered off, but he still had 11 touchdowns. 2013 he had a real injury bad year. 2014 1,100 yards, 12 TDs. 2015 1,100 yards, 11 TDs. Last year he was basically out for the whole year, 540, 3 TDs. So if you're looking at his stats, most of the stuff that you're looking at is just touchdown based. And I guess that's what you're saying when he's not the same, but it's because he had that 1 year where he had 17 touchdowns. It's kind of hard to go back to that. Not a lot of people get 17 touchdowns in a year. He was topping yards until he missed that the Buccaneers game, and I think he's tied for top in touchdowns. But again, this suspension might miss him, but again, he's missing a couple games, and he's still the top in touchdowns and yards. And also, Zilla, you gotta look at playoffs too. I look at playoffs way more than I do regular season. But anyways, going to the suspension thing, Gronkowski's out. Now, what does this do for the Patriots, man? I'm done talking about the Gronkowski suspension thing. Again, I said he's worthy of getting the suspension. If he didn't get it, I understood. But let's not look at that suspension anymore. Let's look at this game we're going to play on Monday night, which I'll do Patriot keys for. But let's just do a quick thing on how this affects the Gronkowski thing. I'll probably go more in depth on my keys video. So let's look at the earlier game when we faced the Buccaneers. Thursday night game, I don't take Thursday night games seriously because anything can always happen. And so I never really take Thursday night games that deep to heart. We barely beat the Buccaneers 19-14. We really didn't play well at all. But we didn't have Gronkowski because he hurt himself earlier in the week, like a day or two before. And he could have played on Sunday. Keep in mind, but they said Thursday night game, cutting too close. We're not going to play it. So the offensive line was terrible that game. It was god awful. Like we couldn't do anything. But receiving wise, Brandon Cooks 5 receptions, 85 yards. Danny Amendola 7 receptions, 77 yards. Chris Hogan 8 receptions, 74 yards and a TD. And James White 7 receptions, 57 yards. So Gronkowski being out, Chris Hogan looks like he's going to be out. This is going to put a lot of pressure on our running game. Now we've had a great running game these past couple weeks. It's been stepping up huge with Deion Lewis as a bell cow. It's been looking good. It's been looking good. Hogan was at practice this past week, so I'm hoping that he could play Monday night. Hopefully that one extra day gives him something. I'm hoping that Chris Hogan can come back and play. But depending on how Chris Hogan is, it kind of depends on how we're going to play this game. Because we typically struggle in Miami. Jimmy, he probably stopped because what happened yesterday. But we typically struggle in Miami. There's always been a place where we kind of just struggle. And typically it's been like it was the last game of the year, so we wasn't really serious. But this time it's more so in the front of things. What you call it? Yeah. So looking at this game, offense played decent. Offensive line just could have held us up. We didn't really have that much of a run game. Gillislee was there. This is before we really used Deion Lewis as the bell cow. Brandon Cooks, I'm going to expect a lot of targets to him. Amendola gets some more time. Jacob Hollister, he was in the game, so expect some Jacob Hollister and some Dwayne Allen action. But I think James White is going to be the X factor in this game. I think we're going to use James White more. We've been using Deion Lewis and Rex Burkhead only, but now with Gronkowski, we're going to need to make that up. I can see us using a lot of James White now back again at the wideout. Maybe even some more Rex Burkhead in the wideout, but maybe some James White. So I think how we're going to attack this Dolphins team is instead of doing like 3 tight end or actually 2 receivers, 2 backs, and 1 tight end. I think you might see us do receivers actually only 3. Depending on Chris Hogan. If Chris Hogan's not there, I can see us doing 2 wide receivers with Cooks and Amendola. I can see White in the middle. I can see Lewis or Burkhead back there, and then I can see Dwayne Allen or Hollister back there. So what's that? 2 tight end? What's that? 2 wide receiver, 2 running back, and a tight end. Or Chris Hogan's back. I can see us doing 3 wide out, and two running backs actually, because I can see us having White out there as a wide receiver, and then we have Burkhead or Deion Lewis in the running back. So that's how things going to affect us. But for us to win this game, our run game is going to have to be good. We're going to have to rely on them. Defense, I think the defense is going to be good against this Dolphins team. Looking back at the last game, we pretty much dominated them in terms of efficiency. Gronkowski went off against the Dolphins. So again, we're going to have to make up that loss. And again, this is a huge loss that we have to make up Gronkowski, but we have shown in the past that without Gronkowski, we always find a way to change our offense up. Usually we have Edelman, but he's not there today. So we're going to have to figure out how to change our offense up. When we play the Dolphins, they got pressure again. I was worried about the defense early on. I'm not too worried with them now, except when we face scrambling quarterbacks. But the thing I'm worried about is the offensive line, because the offensive line started getting it clicking, and then it kind of started to taper off. So offensive line going to have to do better. This defense is the offense defense. They're middle of the pack. They're a middle of the pack defense. 15th in passing yards, 21st in rushing, and 18th total in yardage, and 25th in points allowed. So they're pretty much average, below average defense. But their pass rush is nothing to fear with Cameron Wade, and you got Ndamukong Suh, who's still up there. So it's going to be difficult. We're going to have to do a better job on the offensive line. That's going to be the key to win. It really is the offensive line. That's one of the keys. Hint, wink, wink. But yeah, man, that's how it's going to affect us. Rob Gronkowski, should he have been suspended? I'm okay if he's been suspended. So yeah, that's my take. I understand some people might not think that. Again, I know the troll comments is coming. And everything, but Gronkowski, he's still being Gronk. Glad it's only one game. Bright side is that he's going to be good to go for the game that's going to probably decide the first seed, and that is against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Who knows? Maybe Belichick might even sit him, because remember, he said what's you call it? I remember they brought this up. He said what's his face? Who was it? He said some wide receiver, some guy who used to play for us, who was Brady's favorite target. He sat some guy that I've never seen before in my life, some imaginary guy. He sat him for making comments in a playoff game. So maybe Belichick might teach him a lesson, man. Again, Gronkowski, I understand you've been frustrated. I understand you don't get ref officially. And again, I get it. But that doesn't excuse the fact that you did that. That's a dirty play. And yeah, man. So that's going to be it for the video. Again, like, subscribe, comment, all the great stuff. Hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Again, let me know your thoughts down below, post, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.